Good afternoon, my brothers and sisters in liberty. Victor Pross, anarchist artist. Okay, in part one, I was talking about the ever so vile clash between the individualist anarchist, the voluntarist, in clash with status. And when I say status, I include the entire bushel. I include libertarian, small government, minarchist sorts, and to say nothing of communists, of course, out-and-out socialist, welfare, warfare, status, Democrats, Republicans, the whole kit and caboodle, in the philosophical clash with the voluntarist, agorist, anarchist. And I was explaining the different approaches both parties have, and it boils down to one or two parties. Non-aggression versus aggression, peace versus violence. Make no mistake about the nature of the divide. Make no mistake about the nature of the divide. Voluntarism versus force. And in studying the nature, the philosophical foundation of the clash between these two parties, I was describing their approaches to society. Now, to the individualist anarchist, society is nothing more than an aggregate of people. Society can be composed of, I guess, 100 people, 1,000 people, or millions of people. When you have millions of people interacting with one another in various types of relationships, and whether that be of a commerce in the marketplace of goods and services, trading there, or interacting with one another on a more personal level, whether it be friendships, romantic or otherwise, you have individuals in the world doing things, and there is only individuals, whereas the collectivist, the statist, sees society as a organism, as a living organism in and of its own accord. And you have seen that in collectivist philosophies that have dominated the 20th century. There goes the SkyTrain. You have that in Russia, where the state was the entity to which the individual his work and his goods was to be sacrificed for the benefit of the whole. And you have that in Nazi Germany, where the race was the predominant collective, of which specific individuals were to be sacrificed for the greater of the whole. This is known, of course, and those who are philosophically inclined, known as the common good. So there you have it. To the anarchist, there is only individuals, living and breathing, concrete, flesh and blood, individual human beings, the world of particulars, particular individuals, distinct individuals. Whereas the collectivists, you have society as a living organism in and of itself, of which individuals in the catering of this collectivist entity are, if they are to be a sacrifice for the benefit of the common good, for society, for the good of society, so be it. As the saying goes, as I've said before, I'll say again because it's an incredibly apt metaphor, the collectivist slogan tagline is, you cannot have an omelet without breaking a few eggs. The omelet is society, the eggs are individual lives. So that is the nature of the conflict. Now, let's flesh this out a little bit more. Instead of making it at all gooey and abstract, let's put a little cement foundation to it. I remember a friend of mine who was in a girl that I took some art classes with. Her name was Stephanie. She was she was a good friend of mine. We were art comrades, and we talked very deeply and significantly about a lot of personal things. And she was in an abhorrent, horrible, disgusting, appalling, terribly unhappy relationship or marriage. I mean, this guy was a complete and utter douchebag. Okay, she wanted to get a divorce from this guy. Now, all of that can be very sad, of course. It's very unfortunate if a marriage dissolves and the relationship falls apart. It can be very sad and an unfortunate thing. But if such is the nature of the cards that have been dealt to you, you want to repair yourself, so to speak. You want to get back on track to finding your peace of mind and happiness in this world. And so if it takes a separation and divorce and moving on with your life so that you can clear the slate for other relationships that hopefully this time will be productive, happy, nourishing, and all that good stuff. So that was the nature of what was going on there. She needed to be divorced and get the hell out of there in order to obtain her happiness. That was a good thing in the long run for this individual human being. Okay, there was some pain that was accompanied to it, but it's like going to the dentist. It's not a very pleasant thing. Nobody likes to have drills going, a root canal and all that, but it ultimately is for the good of that individual that they do so. So, now, in discussing that, I remember having a conversation with my uncle, and he was looking at some statistics about the divorce rates and how high they are, and they're just they're spiraling out of control. They're getting worse and worse. The divorce rates are going up, and oh golly gee boy, that really reflects negatively on society. What kind of a society do we live in where the divorce rate is going through the roof? And you might have people who agree with them, where you have the phenomena of arranged marriages or Catholics who make marriage indissoluble. They've made a sacrament to God. Marriage is an institution in and of itself. And it's to that institution that lives and happiness is to be sacrificed to, for the sake of the institution, for the sake of society. So that's the one concrete example of placing it. So so that's what the anarchist, individualist Angoras is talking about. There is only the life of the individual. It is up to ours. Is specifically up to us as individuals to obtain our happiness, so long as we do not aggress against other people. As Ayn Rand would say, the moral is the practical, and it is the life of the individual. It's the happiness of the individual is one's highest moral purpose. And I know that rubs the wrong way of collectivists. When they hear that, I mean, just the word individualist just sets their teeth itching, right? So, but that's the nature of the conflict. So, now, when you have oppositional ethical approaches to this, such as the non-aggression principle, the collectivist, the statist, is at odds with the non-aggression principle, because don't you know that who does that serve? How does the non-aggression principle serve society, they would ask, right? So they place other things, like higher level concepts like society, over specific living individuals. So they do that in metaphysics. They also do that in ethics. They look at ethical considerations that are specifically collectivist coddlers, such as charity. Charity is a good thing. I think that I'd rather live in a society that somebody's down and out, that there is such a thing as charitable institutions, and that one has family and friends that if one does fall through the cracks, falls on hard times, the people will be there to help. Charity and aiding and helping is a good thing. It is a good thing for the person who's on the receiving end of that, so long as they don't make a cod of it. But it's the collectivist individual who considers this so paramount that we must have charity, and that's why they're advocates of the welfare state and forced contributions, forced unchosen obligations, is because they see the non-aggression principle as individualistic and passive, and it's not now, it's not assertive, it's not doing anything. It's like the non-aggression principle doesn't tell you what you should do. It's more or less along the lines of what you are not to do, which is aggressing against people. So they have a problem with that. So, but they don't realize, man, they just don't get it, that There is no such thing as charity if there's no voluntarism. Because once you extract income from one person at the point of a gun through taxation and to bolster up the welfare state, it's no longer charity. It's just theft. Theft. If you were to rip something off, breaking and entering into the house of your neighbor next door, rip off all his stuff, take the money for it, and then distribute the money here, there, over there, or whatever, you don't pocket yourself, the crime that you would be charged with, morally and legally, would be theft. It doesn't matter what you did with the goods. You took the goods without the person's consent or knowledge. So, you are a thief. So the same goes for politics, like I said, from the realm of from one's personal life, is not some magical realm where immorality becomes moral. Okay, that's another metaphysical conflict. It's one world, okay, and we're just all people. The government is just a cadre of people. Okay, there's nothing magical, supernatural about them that separates them from the rest of the population. They are just people. So when you have something like the welfare state, you do not have benevolence, you do not have charity. All you do is have wholesale theft. And this type of escalation in this type of philosophical indulgences just does great harm to all of society, if you want to use that language. If you're so keen on it, all it does is harm society in the long run, because it harms the lives of specific individual human beings. Okay, so I'll cut off here. I just want to keep these in quick, digestible, cognitive, digestible chunks. And something to stew over. It's probably a good time since there's some work going on over there. But thank you for listening. Victor Pross, anarchist, artist, pop goes the culture.